I just found out my baby mama been spending all her child support checks on her new boyfriend. She even called me one day and asked me to send her extra money so she could buy my son new shoes. I'm like, yeah, I got you. I send him money. He come over. I'm like, hey, son, what kind of shoes you get? He said, Mom haven't bought me any new shoes in a while. I'm like, huh? He said, yeah, her new boyfriend Jarvis been needing a lot of money. So I call her. I'm like, why my son telling me that you haven't bought him anything new and you just asked me to send you money so you could buy him something new? She like, it's not like that. He just kind of going through a lot right now. His mom just died and we trying to get her cremated. So her remains is just sitting at the funeral home and nobody help us out. I'm like, man, that don't got nothing to do with me. She like, don't be selfish. Say less. So I went down to the funeral home and I bought his mama's remains. And if he want to see his mama again, they going to have to buy my son shoes or else I'm going to start getting freaky with the urn. Matter of fact, I'm about to finger her right now. So why my baby mama boyfriend gonna call me talking about, oh, bro, can you please take my mama's urn off the internet? You being a little too disrespectful. Can you just take it off the internet and bring it to me? Bro, I went down there and I bought your mama's ashes. How is you gonna tell me I'm being too disrespectful with my property? I own her. He told me, bro, you don't think you taking this a little too far? How am I taking it too far with something that I own? Y'all couldn't afford to pay for her remains, so I went and bought them. Why you tripping? He told me, bro, that's all me and my siblings got to remember my mama by. Can you please just bring us the ashes? I said, bro, did you go buy my son his shoes? I saved y'all a couple of dollars by going to buy her remains. Did you buy my son his shoes? He like, bro, no, we haven't had a chance to. I'm like, so where the money at? He like, I don't really think that's important right now, bro. We just trying to get my mama ashes back. Say less. I told you what I was about to do to her yesterday, bro. Smell my fingers. So why my baby mama boyfriend pull up to my house talking about some, bro, can you give me my mama's urn? I'm like, bro, I already told you. I paid for her ashes. I paid for her remain. I even bought her a golden urn. I own her. This is my property. You can't just pull up to somebody's house demanding that they give you their property. So I'm like, bro, how did you get here anyway? I thought y'all didn't have a car. He like, I called an Uber. I'm like, bro, you called an Uber? So you spent money to get to my house? Did you spend money to go buy my son his shoes? He like, bro, I still haven't had a chance to go get his shoes. This just all got me all frantic. I'm like, bro, I don't care about none of that. He like, bro, can I at least see the urn? So I pull out the urn and show it to him. He like, what's that stuff dripping down the side? I'm like, don't none of that matter. This is my property. We was having a good time before you came and interrupted. He was like, bro, I just want my mama urn. And he reached for it. I'm like, bro, I'm not getting through to you. Maybe I should have your mama talk some sense into you because everything I'm saying ain't work. You know what? Why my baby mama just called me talking about, you doing too much. You proved your point now. Can you give my boyfriend back his mama ashes? I'm like, bro, what world do we live in where you feel like you can just call me and demand that I give up my property? She talking about, that's his mama. He literally came out of her. How is she your property? I'm like, he came out of her, but I came out of my pocket when I went down there to get her after y'all left her laying on that table in the freezer. So that makes her my property. I'm like, listen, bro. All y'all had to do was get my son his shoes that I gave y'all the money to go get, and all this could have been avoided. She like, it's bigger than a pair of shoes. You know, my daddy and his mama died in the same month, so we was just trying to get enough money to get both of them cremated so we can set both of their ashes on our dresser. I'm like, bro, I get that with all due respect. And wait a minute, you ain't go down there and get your daddy ashes yet? She talking about, no, and don't even think about it. Say less. I never thought about it. I never gave it no thought. You know what? I just went down there and did it. And now I'm going to make sure they live a long, healthy afterlife. My baby mama boyfriend popped up at my house last night. And he didn't even knock on the door or nothing. He just sat on my porch crying. So I come to the window with a speaker and I start playing Temptations, Wish It Would Rain. But he started crying louder than the music, sounding like Tyrese in that one video. My Bernadette, my Bernadette. I guess that's his whole name. So I come to the door, I said, bro, stop. I said, did you buy my son his shoes? That's all you had to do. He like, yes, I did. I'm like, all right, so give me the shoes, bro. That's all I needed in the first place, and you could have been out your way. So he pull out the shoes. This man bought my son a pair of Shaqs. I said, bro, no. I gave you enough money to at least buy 3 pairs of J's. You could have bought the Mexican J's. That would have been all right. He said, bro, I spent all the money, so this is what I could afford. I said, bro, what did you spend my money on? He said, I just kept buying 3 5s and say less. I'm going to make a deal with you. I just keep selling you your mama in 3 5s until you...
Shit. Kavi, what you doing, bro?
Oh, what's up, OG? I'm just sitting here chilling with my new lady.
That's what I was actually calling about, bro. You got to give dude his earn back,
man. Nah, man, I can't do that. I can't do that, bro.
How about this? How about I pay you what you paid for the earn, and I'll buy little man some shoes, and you give him his earn back?
You would do that for me?
Come on, man. Dad's got to stick together, bro. You know I got you.
All right, well, since you looking out for me, I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to give you this. We can run a train on it together. I just got kicked out of church today, and they threatened to call the police on me if I come back. I went to my baby mama church. I get there, her and her boyfriend sitting in the front row. She looked back at me. She like, oh my God. She run up to me. She like, what is you doing here? And why do you have our parents' remains? I'm like, because I don't think you and him need to be together. Y'all don't make good, rational decisions when y'all together. She like, what you mean? I'm like, y'all still haven't bought my son shoes and y'all spent his shoe money on weed. She like, either way, it's not up to you to decide whether or not we together. Say less. I go up to the pool pit. I snatch the mic from the pastor and I tell him, I'm about to marry both of these dead remains so y'all two become brother and sister and y'all don't have no choice but to leave each other alone. They like, you can't marry no dead people. I'm like, y'all can't tell them how to feel. So I sit them down and I marry both of them. And then I say, you may now kiss the bride. I take the lid off both tops, stick my hand in and grab some ashes, and I toss it in the air like LeBron when he do his game celebration. It's over. I think this might be the last week y'all see me do any content with this urn. My son's birthday this weekend, so his mama called me. She said, look, I just want to know, do you plan on coming to his birthday party? And are you going to be cordial and peaceful? I'm like, I always come to his birthday parties because I always pay for him. And I don't know what you mean by cordial and peaceful. I've been nothing but cordial and peaceful. She said, you've been going out your way to spite us. I'm like, going out my way to spite y'all don't mean I haven't been peaceful. And she was like, and another thing, we don't want you to have to worry about the party, so we going to pay for it. I'm like, what you mean y'all going to pay for it? Y'all got money now? She said, yeah. I'm like, so did y'all buy the shoes yet? She said, don't start about them shoes. You done got your lick back 5 times over. Say less. I called my son. I'm kicking it with him. I'm like, oh, yeah, what you want Dad to get you for your birthday party? He said, Dad, you get me everything I want anyways. I just want a Spider-Man pinata. They going to be real upset when I show up to the party like this. My baby mama called me today. She wanted to express her disappointment and disgust in the way I've been carrying on the internet with her boyfriend's mama's ashes. And I'm like, bro, I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm going to ask you? Did you get my son shoes? She like, man, my taxes drop soon. I'm going to pay for his shoes. I'm going to pay you for both of our parents' dead remains. And we don't got to worry about this no more because the way you've been acting is very thirsty. I'm like, you think I've been acting thirsty? She like, yeah, you thirsty over a pair of shoes. I'm like, no. I just expect you to do what you supposed to do when I give you my money. She like, no, you really just mad because me and you not together no more and I got a new man. I'm like, bro, I left you and put myself on child support so I wouldn't have to deal with you. She like, no, that ain't really what it is. You thirsty. Say less. You know what? Your boyfriend mama look a little thirsty. So I took the liberty of putting some of her ashes in this here Ziploc bag and we gonna go ahead and hydrate mama. I picked my son up from his mama today. He was looking sad. I'm like, what's wrong, big man? He said, Dad, my mom and her boyfriend was saying mean things about you and I don't like it. I'm like, well, what they say? He said, they said that you always ruin everything because you always trying to get your lick back instead of trying to be understanding. I'm like, well, I am like that. He said, Dad, they also told me something was a secret, but I'm not allowed to tell you. So if I tell you, you have to keep it between me and you. I'm like, all right. He said, my mom's auntie died not too long ago, and they was trying to raise money to get her remains because they had her cremated. But they don't want me to tell you because they said you keep collecting all the dead people in our family like they Pokemon. I'm like, well, do tell me more. He said, Dad, they said you keep taking all the dead people and buying them and putting them in urns for the internet. Say less. Son, you don't have to worry about me going down there and buying an urn for your auntie. I'm gonna leave her in the same box that she came. I picked my son up from his mama today. He said, Dad, I'm sleepy. I'm like, what's wrong? He said, well, my mom's girlfriend came over yesterday, and her boyfriend and her girlfriend were wrestling all night. I'm like, her girlfriend? He was like, yeah, Dad, my mom has a girlfriend. I'm like, she told you that's her girlfriend? He was like, yeah. So I'm like, all right. I called my baby mama. I'm like, hey, yo, I don't appreciate you having these conversations with him. And now he telling me that he can't sleep because y'all wrestling all night. So she get to going off. You call me about everything except for what we need to talk about. You keep calling me about my personal life. I'm like, your personal life becomes my conversation when my son tell me that is disturbing him. None of that matter. And for the record, I want you to know that we still waiting on you to give us our parents' remains. Say less. I said, I'd give them to you, but I don't know which is which. She told me, what you mean, which is which? I'm like, well, I mixed them all up so we can have threesomes too. My baby mama called me today. She said, I need a favor. I'm like, do you really think you're in a position to be asking me for a favor? She like, listen, anything I ask you for, you know it's for your son. I'm like, no, you tell me it's for my son, and then you give it to your boyfriend. She like, don't start. I'm like, no, you don't start. I'm trying to heal, and you keep interrupting my healing process. Every time I try to heal, you do something to make me have to crash out. If I have to buy one more of your dead family members, I might as well start my own cemetery. I might as well start my own cremation service. So she like, we not trying to talk about that right now. All I want you to know is we got a family reunion coming up and your son needs some clothes. I'm like, well, you get child support every month. Why don't you use that to buy his clothes? She like, because that money go on bills. Say less. I said, well, give me 3 baby size shirts along with his shirt. She talking about why? I'm like, because we going to bring all these urns to the family reunion too. Today was the first day a man ever came to me as a woman. My baby mama boyfriend called an Uber to my house again. He said, hey, bro, we need to talk man to man. I'm like, what's up? He said, I've been giving it some thought, and I don't think you doing all this over a pair of shoes. I'm like, what you mean? He said, I don't think you went down there and bought our parents' remains and you making all of these videos posting on the internet just because I didn't buy your son a pair of shoes. I'm like, well, what you think I'm doing it for? He said, you either still sleeping with my girl or you jealous of the fact that we together? I'm like, see, that's the problem right there. Your mind is everywhere except for where it should be. Get my son his shoes and I'll give you a little piece of your mama back. He like, bro, no, I don't care no more. I'm not leaving your house with all my mama's remains. I'm like, what you trying to do? He said, bro, I don't care if I got to fight you for her remains. I'm not leaving your house without them. Say less. That's exactly why I keep a little piece of your mama in a Ziploc bag in case you ever come to my house tripping. I can just... My cousin called me about a week ago. She said, hey, I just seen your baby mama up here at my job. I'm like, doing what? She said, come on, bro. If I seen your baby mama at my job, you know exactly what she was up here doing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to call her. I get on the phone with my baby mama. I'm like, hey, my cousin told me she saw you at her job. She was like, see, that's exactly why I didn't want to go up there, because I knew she was going to be running her mouth. I knew she was going to call you, and I knew you was going to call me. I'm like, bro, all I'm saying is you keep spending all this money, and my son don't got his shoes yet. She like, bro, I'm going through real life situations. I still haven't had a chance to process everything. I'm like, bro, I don't care about none of that. You paying for abortions, and you still haven't bought my son his shoes. She like, I'm still traumatized. I'm still grieving. I'm still trying to process all of this. You selfish, you narcissistic. Say less. I called my cousin like, hey, you think you can get the remains from me? She was like, of course I can. I FaceTimed my baby mama a couple days later like, I want you to meet somebody. My baby mama boyfriend pulled up to my house again. And I'm like, bro, what do you want this time? You keep coming to my house and it's not getting us nowhere. At this point, you just harassing me, antagonizing me. I told y'all before, I'm trying to heal. Y'all keep disrupting my healing journey. Why don't y'all just leave me alone? He said, bro, I'm coming to you because I need some closure. I'm like, you just gonna keep coming to me as a woman? He like, you can say all the funny stuff you want, but at the end of the day, that's still my mama you got in that urn. I'm like, bro, whether she your mama or not, I paid for her. She my property. We've been through this. He like, I just want to know what you doing. I just want to know what satisfaction you getting out of this. I'm like, satisfaction? None. He like, so what is you doing with my mama earn? I'm like, bro, you really want to know? He like, yes, say less. Let me turn the baby around because I don't want her to have to hear this. I said, I be clapping her cheeks. He said, what you mean you be clapping her cheeks? I'm like this. I'm at a crossroad, so I need y'all to tell me, preferably before Easter Sunday, if y'all think I'm taking this too far or if y'all think I'm a justified crash out at this point. My son called me about a week ago. He like, Dad, Mom's boyfriend is in the hospital sick and she want to talk to you. I'm like, I don't care about him being sick, but put her on the phone. She get on the phone sobbing and screaming. I'm like, get to the point. She like, my boyfriend got diagnosed with diabetes. They had to chop 3 of his toes off and we had to pay out of pocket because the insurance didn't cover all of it. I'm like, so you basically telling me that you couldn't afford to buy my son shoes to put his toes in, but you could afford to get somebody's toes chopped off? She like, can we just erase this debt and start over? I'm like, erase the debt? She like, yeah, say less. I called my son. I said, son, if you bring me her boyfriend toes, I'll buy you a PlayStation. So he bought me the toes. So on Easter Sunday, I'ma hide this egg and whatever kid get it is gonna open it and find cremated toes. My baby mama called me threatening me today. She said, I know it's your weekend to have a baby, but since it's Easter weekend, I feel like you should let him come with me. I'm like, why? You got him a new outfit and some new shoes? She like, nah, but I know you don't celebrate Easter, so I figured he could just come with me and have a whole Easter experience. I'm like, bro, it don't matter if I celebrate Easter or not. My experience with my son is my experience with my son, and this weekend we spending time together. She like, look, I don't care about none of that. I just feel like you shouldn't be selfish and let him have an experience. I'm like, bro, I don't care. She said, all right, well, look, if you don't let him come with me this weekend, I'm going to go down to your cousin's job, and I'm going to figure out how to file a HIPAA violation from her telling you that I got an abortion, and I'm going to figure out what kind of criminal charges I could press against you for buying the abortion and get it put in the urn. Say less. I said, I knew you was going to do that. So I took the liberty of getting you this made. So since it's Resurrection Sunday, why don't you take both of them to the church and see if God will bring them back? My son called me today. He was excited for dinner. He said, Dad, guess what? I'm like, what's up? He said, Mom's ordering us all our own seafood boils for dinner. I'm like, oh, yeah? He like, yeah. I'm like, Mommy must got some money. He said, yeah, I saw her counting a lot of money. I'm like, did she get your shoes? He said, no, not yet. He said, her boyfriend's even going to order us all milkshakes. I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, what kind of milkshake you going to get? He said, vanilla. I said, what kind of milkshake Mommy's boyfriend going to get? He said, probably chocolate. He likes chocolate. Say less. I park down the street from their house. I wait for the delivery. Soon as he put the food on the porch, I run up, open the chocolate milkshake and pour laxative all in it. And then I open up all of the urns and I sprinkle a little bit of mommy, a little bit of daddy, even a little bit of baby. I dip off. My baby mama come calling me 2 hours later tomorrow. I saw you on my Ring camera. What you do? My boyfriend on the toilet holding his stomach crying for his mama. I'm like, oh, he ain't got to cry for his mama. She in there. Easter Sunday, I almost had a change of heart. I called my son to let him know I was about to bring over his Easter basket. I hear a grown man crying in the background. Oh, mama, no. I'm like, who is that? He like, that's my mama boyfriend. He crying because he said this the first Easter he ever had to spend without his mama. I'm like, dang, that's crazy because I know the feeling because I lost my mama too. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring his mama over there. I'm going to let him chill with her for an hour or two, and then we going to dip. So my son going to tell him, like, my dad said he going to let you see your mom for a minute. So I get there, and he got the police outside. Talking about, he stole my mama's remains. Can y'all get my mama's remains back from him? So I pulled out the paperwork and I showed the police. I'm like, this is my property. So they look at it. They look at him. They like, yeah, he own it. There's nothing we can do about it. So I'm like, bro, this how you want to try to play me? Say less. I'm like, you know what, bro? Since you want to try to stick your foot in your mouth anyway, here you go. Today my son got a phone call home from school. His teacher called me and said, you need to come up here and get him. Him and his stepbrother are in class fighting, and he just threw dirt in his stepbrother's face 3 times. So I go up to the school and pull him out of class. I'm like, why are you throwing dirt in people's face? You know that's not what we do, especially your stepbrother. He said, I didn't throw dirt in his face, Dad. I'm like, well, what happened? He said, today is show and tell day. I'm like, what does that mean? He said 3 days ago, my mom and her boyfriend bought my stepbrother new shoes. And he kept laughing and bragging and saying that they only bought him shoes because they loved him more than me, and they don't love me, and that's why they haven't bought my shoes. He said I told him to stop saying that to me, or else I was going to have to do something and say something that hurt his feelings. And he told me that there's nothing I could do to hurt his feelings, so say less. He said I stole one of the urns and brought it to school for show and tell, and I pulled it out the class and said, this is my stepbrother's dead grandma. And I stuck my hand and said, you want to taste her? You want to see her? I just found out my baby mama boyfriend been making my son call him dad. My son told me, hey, Dad, my mom's boyfriend said from now on I need to address him as dad. I'm like, and how did that make you feel? He said, I don't like it. I said, well, what did your mom say? He said, my mom said as long as I'm living under his roof, I have to follow his rules. I said, don't worry, I'm going to call him and talk to him about it. So I called him up. I said, hey, man, these last couple weeks have been extremely challenging for the both of us. Let's not make them any more challenging than they already have been or than they already have to be. I said, my son don't want to call you dad. Stop trying to force it. He said, man, I just need him to know that he got to respect me as much as he respects you. I'm like, I get that, but making him call you dad ain't the way. He said, as long as I'm smashing his mama, he going to have to call me dad. Say less. I took the top off of his mama urn right in front of him and started smashing. I said, well, since I'm about to come inside your mama, you going to call me daddy, right? I'm your daddy. My baby mama just threatened to file a restraining order against me. My son called me. He said, Dad, I'm hungry. Can you DoorDash me some McDonald's? So I'm like, yeah, I got you. I sent him some McDonald's. 10 minutes after the order get there, his mama called me tomorrow. You know it's other kids in this house. Why would you just send one kid food? I'm like, well, if it's multiple kids in that house, why did you only buy one of them shoes when you were supposed to buy my son's shoes? She like, I'm sick of this. You want to keep being petty, and that don't negate the fact that I'm like, bro, listen, you should have fed him. He should have never had to call me to send him food anyway. She like, man, look, if you're not going to send food for the rest of the kids, don't send food for none of them. Say less. So I went to McDonald's myself personally, and I ordered the other kid a Happy Meal. So I sat in front of the door and opened it up. I said, we got some nuggets, we got some fries, and we even got a little feet. And why my baby mama little stepson tried to come to me as a woman, just like his daddy. I was picking my son up from his mama house. So the little boy come running out the house to me, excuse me. I just want to know, how come you keep making my stepmama cry and why you keep making her and my daddy fight? I'm like, excuse me? He said, yeah, I just want to know because she always crying and she say it's your fault. And then him and her start arguing. I'm like, little boy, get out my face, stay out of grown folks' business, and go find you something safe to do. So she peeking out the window while I'm talking to him. She come running outside to me, what is you saying to him? What is you saying to him? I'm like, bro, this little boy just came outside asking me questions about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with him. You need to talk to him before I have my son introduce him to his grandma again. So she like, if he asking you a question, all you got to do is answer it. I'm like, no, all he got to do is stay in the child's place. She like, he ain't causing you no harm. Say less. I said, you know what? It seemed like you don't got enough kids to play with, so I'm going to let you and this little fetus play together. My baby mama told me she was taking me to court today. She randomly FaceTimed me. I'm like, bro, what do you want? She said, I just want to know how we can find a diplomatic solution to get past this and move forward. I'm like, you know the answer to that. Y'all keep asking how to get past this. And I told y'all, all y'all got to do is buy my son his shoes. She like, you know what? You really a child and you never going to see past your own arrogance. I'm like, bro, I just want my mans to have the shoes he's supposed to have. That's all. So she like, you know what? It don't even matter. I already went down to file the paperwork and we gonna go to court and I'm gonna try to get them to give me those urns. Say less. I opened the top on every last one of them and start mixing the ashes in real good. I'm like, you ain't gonna be able to tell who's who. We gonna put mommy with daddy, daddy with baby. Everybody gonna be hugging on each other. Just then I get a knock on the door. It's the process server. He coming with the paperwork to subpoena me to court. I'm already hands deep in the ashes. I just look at him like, just give me the paperwork, dog. I think my baby mama boyfriend on drugs. He called me today. He said, hey, your son was bad in school today. His mama at work. I just want to know, is it okay if I whoop him? I said, if you put your hands on my son, I'm going to be shooting content with your remains inside of one of these urns next. He said, I don't understand what the hostility is. I said, let me put it to you like this. Y'all still owe him a pair of shoes that you ain't trying to get. When he at your house, I still got to send him food. I still got to send him money. I still got to take care of him. Why would I let you put your hands on him when you can't even provide for him as a man? He said, I don't understand why you feel that way when you know I stand 10 toes behind him. I said, bro, how you going to stand 10 toes behind him when I got 3 of your toes in the urn? He like, you know what, man? All of this ain't necessary. I'm like, bro, are you on drugs? He like, what do you mean am I on drugs? I'm like, bro, let me break it down to you like this. I just found out my baby mama boyfriend been cheating on her. I bump into him at the mall. He walking around with some lady that looked like she about 8 months pregnant. And under normal circumstances, I would have just minded my business, but I'm on a revenge tour. They walking around with a bunch of bags full of baby clothes, and they still ain't bought my son his shoes. So I slide up on him. I'm like, yo, what's this? My baby mama know about this? He like, bro, what is you talking about? I'm like, what am I talking about? Do my baby mama know you starting a whole new family and got this woman pregnant while you just made her get an abortion? So she look at him like, got an abortion? So he like, man, stop. He look at me like, why don't you just mind your business? Say less. I pulled the baby urn on my hoodie like, yeah, he made her get an abortion and the baby right here. They don't come visit. They don't do none of that. I'm like, matter of fact, my baby mama don't deserve this. So I pull out my phone and FaceTime her. I'm like, you see what's going on? So she like, boy, that's his sister. Is you walking around with a baby urn in your... I don't know if I should be proud of my son or if I should be concerned. He called me today in a panic. He said, Dad, you always told me to call you if I needed you to pick me up in an emergency. I'm like, what's going on? He said, I need you to come pick me up. I'm like, all right, well, call your mom. Tell her I'm coming to get you so it's no confusion. He said, I'm not at home, Dad. I'm like, where you at? He said, I'm at the crematorium. I'm like, why are you at the You know what? Just stay there. I'm on my way. I get there. I'm like, what happened? He said, Dad, my stepbrother was teasing me again. I'm like, Sam, what? He said, he kept telling me my mom didn't love me. I'm like, well, why did he say that? He said, because they bought him 2 pet lizards and they still haven't bought my shoes. So he said that proves that they don't love me. I'm like, okay. He said, I told him to stop saying that to me. I'm like, and then what happened? He said he said it again, so I say less. I'm like, what happened? He said, now the 2 lizards live in a whole new home. They live in here. I'm like, bro, what did you do? I had to go to court today, and the judge demanded that I bring everybody remains. So I'm sitting in the courtroom with all of these urns, and me and the judge just couldn't seem to see eye to eye. So I asked her, I said, did I do something wrong? She said, legally, no. Morally, yes. I'm like, well, people don't go to court for morals. We go to court for legality. So you tripping if you think I'm about to sit here and take a lecture on morality. When I said you tripping, she didn't understand what I meant because she kind of old. So she said, what does that mean? I said, you jiving me if you think I'm about to sit here and listen to a lecture on morals. She said, don't use that type of language in my courtroom. So I digressed. I'm like, all right, you on their side. I get it. But how would you feel if you was dead in a cold funeral home and nobody came and got your remains? She said, I wouldn't know because I would have been dead. And if you really wanted your son's shoes, there's a better way to go about it. I'm like, well, let me ask you a question. Have anybody ever played in your face? She said, no. So say less. It's the first time for everything. How about...
Man, what you got going on, man?
Let me guess. You coming to me as a woman again.
Man, what the? Bro, how can we move forward from this, man, so I can get... Why is you throwing my mama in your lap, man? What the...
Man, you already know what I'ma say. All you gotta do is buy my son his shoes, bro.
Man, I can put something in play, man. I got something for him, man. Come on, man. We can... Come on. Baby, your baby daddy on the phone again.
Let me see what you got.
They not that...
Nah, man. Those look like they smell like dead coochie.
I don't even know how dead coochie smell, bruh.
Say less. I just got finished digging in your mama's. Smell my fingers. I need help. I need somebody to help me find another small urn. I was at the crematorium today, taking care of some business. And while I was in there, my baby mama walked in. She didn't even see me. I look at the owner. I'm like, why she here? He like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, let me go hide in the audio room so she don't know I'm here, and I'm going to just listen to what she's saying. So I go in the room, and I'm just listening. She told me, oh, I'm here to pick up my uncle. And she said a bunch of money on the counter. I'm like, how you got a bunch of money to buy a dead person, but you don't got enough money to buy my son his shoes? So I'm like, I'm going to call her, see where she at, and see if she lied to me. So I called her. I'm like, what you doing? She like, nothing. I'm just sitting around trying to figure out how I'm going to get money to pay the bills. Say less. I sit there and wait right until they bag her uncle up, and I run out the back, stick my hand in his ashes, and grab a handful of them. So now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to just set these like right.